What's up, everybody? This is Sunko, the Korean bro. Today is 2022, July 10th. Long time no see, everybody. As always, the first website that I'm going to look at is marketbeat.com and yahoofinance.com. We'll see what we have, okay? Hmm. Let's see. Oh, okay. Let's see. Supply chains. How the pandemic may lead more manufacturers to these. Elon cancels public events in Japan after Abe assassination. Retirement is tax strategy is one of the great silver linings. These states most dependent on firearm industry. Hmm. How much would I end up spending? I've got $10 million in assets. And I'm thinking of hiring a financial advisor. How much would this how ExxonMobil envisions its environmental role. Hmm. I'm out millions of dollars. Thousands of crypto investors have their life savings frozen as Voyager files for bankruptcy protection. Hmm. I retired at 50, went back to work at 53, and then a medical issue left me jobless. Car repos are exploding. That's a bad omen. As Omicron boosters loom. Okay. Mark Cuban caught in bankruptcy of crypto lender Voyager. How risky is it to quit your job now? Why is the US sending its emergency oil reserves to China? Under Buffett, Berkshire stopping up bargains again, but not Bitcoin. Wells Fargo sees a recession hitting the US in mid 2023. Here are three stocks the big bank likes for both cash return and inflation protection. These three dividend stocks offer surprisingly high yields. Energy stocks are cheap, just as Warren Buffett. These are the five best stocks to buy and watch now. Under Lisa Su, AMD is a profit making machine. Dow Jones Futures market faces tasks it failed before Elon Musk moves to terminate Twitter deal. Berkshire Hathaway director scooped up shares after tough month for the stock. If Intel stock breaks another key support level, what happens? C23 are the fastest growing stocks, eyeing up to 852% quarter second growth. These are the five best EV stocks to buy and watch now. Hmm. Medical sector leads new buys by top funds while Big Mac joins Big Oil. The stock market just had a great week. The next one could be a messier. Earnings season one make or break the stock market. The stock market faces next test as inflation looms over earnings season. Top millennial Gen Z stock shift to energy plays. Popular pick Tesla poised to open US supercharger network to others. Patent subscriptions could best beat estimate. That's not saying much. Hmm. Wells Fargo cuts ratings on three media stocks, citing risk of ad market slowdown. Omnicron stock gets upgraded. Advertising agencies could be outperformed by analyst says. How to bottom pick a stock. Google would inside track when Netflix ad partnerships as analyst. Stock outlook brightens as jobs stay strong and commodities price decline. Is Fubo TV stock still a buy amidst lowering FY22 estimates? Tim Cook keeps pushing Apple in new directions. Home prices may still rise, but car values are set to fall from pandemic peak. Goldman. Major stablecoin is financially saying what exactly is behind its reserves. Hmm. The critical thing to turn the bear market around, according to PNC's Agati, is Netflix stock a buy or sell before the video streamer's quarter-second report. Crypto rout deflates some Web3 startups buoyed by push into digital tokens. Devon Energy chief is a trendsetter in emphasizing shareholder returns. Brian Moynihan's leadership at Bank of America means less stress for shareholders. COVID fears are down, inflation is up. What that could mean for retailers? Can XPO Logistics pull its way higher? Is Roku stock a buy before streaming platforms' quarterly report? Dire U.S. labor shortage provides opportunity for ex-prisoners. Hmm. Is in Mid East Biden struggling to shift policy after Trump? Hmm. Can't release equipment for Russia-Germany gas pipeline. Sri Lanka opposition hopes to install new governments amid turmoil. Sri Lanka opposition meets to install new governments amid turmoil. Is it a cheaper valuation worth the buy? AT&T, is its cheaper valuation worth the buy? Altria Group, a contentious high yield dividend stock. Three grocery stocks that can help take a bite out of inflation. Investing in preferred stock versus common stock. Profiting from 52-week low stocks. Is the market near a bottom? Doesn't matter. Three chip stocks that just got upgraded. Three grocery stocks that can help take a bite out of inflation. Let's see. Supply chains. How the pandemic may lead more manufacturers to the US. More manufacturers to the US. More and more US companies are moving their production and manufacturing facilities back home due to the pandemic supply chain snarls and the insufficient production abroad. As a result, it has become a huge incentive to set up shop here in the United States. Dodge Construction Network Chief Economist Richard Branch said on Yahoo Finance Live. For decades, American firms have been shifting their production facilities abroad in pursuit of cheaper materials and labor. The pandemic, however, revealed the weak global supply chain, while also accelerating the move to bring manufacturing back to America. It's certainly clear that manufacturers want more control and more predictability over their supply chains than what they've gotten used to over the past couple of years. Yes, that's right. Manufacturers want more control and more predictability over their supply chains than while overseas manufacturing may cost less. New manufacturing construction factories have totaled $41.6 billion over this last 12 months, he added. The supply chain delays have resulted in billions of dollars tied up in inventory, which have led to chip fabrication plants like semiconductors ramping up U.S. production along with steel mills, EV battery factories, food production plants, sawmills, and other building material products, branch noted. Mm. Data from Dodge Construction Network show the construction of new manufacturing facilities in the U.S. has surged 116% over the past year, revealing a 10% gain on all building projects combined. For example, in Phoenix, Intel is building 2 factories, while Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing is also developing one in the city. Potential headwinds. So I get that. I get that. The point of this article is that a lot of manufacturers are building what is it factories in the states. Um, they don't want their factories in China or somewhere else because in that way they would have less control. They would have less predictability. In that way, which means less, how can I put it? Anyway, yeah. Overall, because of that, like a lot of manufacturers want their factories inside the states, right? There's a lot of potential headwinds. Even though reshoring strengthens the U.S. economy, there is still a significant risk that lies ahead for the manufacturing sector in the years to come, according to branch the labor force. Data from the U.S. Department of Labor has shown that manufacturing payrolls have been increasing, but not fast enough. There were 797,000 open jobs in the manufacturing sector in May 2022. A Deloitte survey found that 45% of manufacturing executives have turned down business opportunities because of lack of workers, and that attracting and retaining a quality workforce is top focus for 83% of manufacturers. If that's sustained, that could certainly constrain or put a cap on how much manufacturing can come back to the United States, Branch explained. Because the pandemic was monumentally disruptive, many countries such as the US needed to recalibrate the delicate balance between onshoring and offshoring to maintain a consumer-driven economy. Okay. Okay. Huh. Interesting article. What else do we have? Yellen cancels public event in Japan after Abe assassination. U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen has canceled her visit to the port of Yokohama during her visit to Japan next week out of deference following the assassination of former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, a Treasury officer said on Saturday. Abe was fatally shot on Friday while giving a campaign speech on a street in the western city of Nara. Yellen had been scheduled to visit the port on Tuesday for a roundtable with business leaders, a tour of the facilities, and deliver a speech. Separately, the State Department said late on Saturday that Secretary Antony Blinken was adding a stop in Tokyo in the coming days as part of his Asia trip to offer condolences to the Japanese people on Abe's death and to meet senior Japanese officers. The Treasury officer said Yellen's bilateral meetings in Japan will still take place. She is scheduled to meet Minister of Finance Suzuki Shunichi on Tuesday. Because of death of Abe, people like senior, including senior people and like president, all cancel. They cancel schedule that's been set already. So, retirement expert, this tax strategy is one of the great silver linings of a down market. Even though there is a talk of a recession and the stock market has been in the red for most of 2022, some financial experts say the news isn't all bad for those who are planning for retirement. There's a talk of recession. The stock market has been in the red for most of 2022. Some financial experts say the news isn't all bad for those who are planning for retirement. Christian Benz, director of personal finance and retirement planning for Morningstar, offered some strategies investors can use to find upside in a volatile stock market. Tax strategy. What kind of tax strategy can investor use? Okay. Director of Personal Finance and Retirement Planning for Morningstar offers some strategies investors can use to find upside in the volatile stock market. Tax loss harvesting is a strategy that offers one of the great silver linings in a down market. Ben's told you finance. The strategy would apply to your taxable account, so not to your retirement account, not to your 401k or your IRA. Ben said, if you have taxable holdings in a brokerage account, the idea is that you can sell them. If they are trading below what you paid for them, sell them, realize a loss, and then you can use that loss to offset gains elsewhere in your portfolio. While tax loss harvesting can help investors save money, Ben said investors should consult a financial advisor and be mindful of the wash rule when selling their securities. You can't rebuy that same security within 30 days of having sold it, she explained. Otherwise, you will negate the tax loss. You can't sell the same security or what the IRS considers a substantially identical security. Blah, blah, blah. Something that's got to do with tax. Gun reform. The states are the most dependent on the firearms industry. Okay, it's interesting. As lawmakers enact new gun reforms in the wake of recent mass shootings, one factor shaping the political debate is how reliant states are on gun culture. While it helped rank all 50 states by how dependent they are on the gun industry, the study compared states on the size of their firearms industry in terms of jobs and sales, the prevalence of gun culture, and gun related political contributions. The most dependent state on the gun industry was Idaho, followed by Wyoming and Kentucky. While other states like California are among the largest producers overall in the gun industry, National Shooting Sports Foundation data shows that Idaho laid on a per capita basis with nearly 7,000 jobs, $435 million in wages, and almost $1.6 billion in gun related economic output in 2021. Rural states are more dependent on the gun industry, with no exception. Wallet Health analyst Joe Gonzalez told Yahoo Finance, in terms of gun politics, northern states like Wyoming, Nebraska, and Dakotas have the highest gun rights contributions to congressional members, no gun control contributions. New York, Hawaii, New Jersey, and Rhode Island were the least dependent on the gun industry, the analyst found. And although Wallet Hub did not factor political alignment into their analysis, Gonzalez noted that what is clear is that blue states are least dependent overall on the gun industry. Republican-leaning states, meanwhile, were far more likely to have a robust gun industry. In fact, the top 20 states in the study voted Republican in the 2020 election. Gonzalez stressed that while the number of mass shootings events feed into a broader trend of higher firearm-related fatalities and injuries, relationship between the gun industry and mass shootings isn't straightforward. There's no direct correlation between the gun ownership rate or the number of NICS background checks and the prevalence of mass shootings. How much would I end up spending? I've got $10 million in assets, and I'm thinking about hiring a financial advisor. How ExxonMobil envisions its environmental role. Okay. How ExxonMobil envisions environmental role. Andy Rhodes presented a clear problem for a company in the business of pulling oil out of the ground and turning it into fuel. Andy Rhodes presented a clear problem for a company in the business of pulling out all of the ground oil out of the ground and turning it into a fuel. But ExxonMobil under CEO Darren Wood used the pandemic $2/5 billion from its early operating coach and make it targeted investment while energy prices were low. It added debt, but also raised its dividend payment for the 39th consecutive year. As demand and prices shot back up, Action led international oil companies last year on profits. It has nearly paid off its pandemic borrowings, and free cash flow could hit a record $45 billion to $50 billion this year. There's a new $10 billion stock buyback program. Amount of millions of dollars, thousands of crypto investors have their life savings frozen as Voyager files for bankruptcy protection. Robert first came across Voyager Digital in March 2020. Like countless others, he decided to give the cryptocurrency broker a try. Out of millions of dollars, thousands of crypto investors have their life savings frozen as Voyager files for bankruptcy protection. Okay. The platform was easy to navigate. It offered him an up to 9% annual percentage yield. How much higher than a traditional savings account? It claimed to be FDIC insured and being a publicly traded company on the Toronto Stock Exchange. He thought, how bad could Voyager be? It's heartbreaking. Yes, it is. A lot of investors, crypto investors, are suffering because their accounts are melting. They're like they paid really high price for Bitcoin, and now its price went down. So pretty much they're like they lost. Well, it's not that they lost money because unless they sell it, they cannot lose it, right? So they're losing money is the right term, I guess. Cars repos are exploding. That's bad omen. Car repos are exploding. That's bad omen. The jobs report in minutes from the Federal Reserve's June meeting were the economic highlights of the week, but they are respectively a lagging indicator. And all news, this column instead digs into the auto market, where there is an underappreciated ticking the bomb. Lockie Lopez is a car dealer who has been in the business for about 20 years. In recent meetings with bankers, where he bids on repossessed vehicles before they go to auction, he has noticed some common characteristics of the defaulted loans. Most of the loans on recent repossessed cars originated during 2020 and 2021, whereas origination dates are normally scattered because people fall on hard times at different times. Loan to value ratios or the amount of finance relative to the value of the vehicle. Mark Cuban caught in bankruptcy of crypto lender Voyager. Successful entrepreneur and the star of the Shark Tank TV shows is a crypto investor. One of his bets just backfired. Okay. The billionaire entrepreneur has been facing a torrent of criticism for several days linked to a partnership forged with a crypto firm. Indeed, Cuban, an avant-garde list of the crypto industry in which he has invested, had signed an agreement linking his NBA team. The Dallas Mavericks to the crypto lender Voyager did last October. The contract signed on October 28th is for 5 years and has a mission to promote cryptocurrencies by making coins more accessible through educational and digital programs. $100 reward when opening an account. Okay, what's the problem here? What? Okay, Voyager is a cryptocurrency trading platform. People may have lost a lot of money. He must have advertised it. Voyager is a good way to learn. He must have said, please go ahead and invest some money on a Bitcoin, and now it's like its price went down, and people are like, oh, come on, why did you say it at first place? If you had not said it, I would have not, lost money like right now, something like that. That's it. 10 too many coins that were treated as a joke. Cuban, who has social media presence, has retweeted message from users praising his efforts to drive down drug costs, has yet to discuss Voyager's bankruptcy. A Twitter leak request for a comment from the Dallas Mavericks has so far gone unanswered. In stocks and crypto, you will see companies that were sustained by cheap, easy money but didn't have valid business prospects will disappear. Under Buffett, Berkshire is snapping up bargains again, but not Bitcoin. Okay, what is he snapping up? Berkshire is snapping up again. Warren Buffett is snapping up stocks, buying an insural at a bargain price. And exciting investors in Berkshire Hathaway Buffett, who turns 92 in August, have been relatively inactive in the wake of the pandemic, but has sharply picked up the pace of investment in 2022. Berkshire reached an $11 billion deal to buy insural Allegheny in March at an attractive price and was a net buyer of more than $40 billion of stocks in the first quarter, including more than $15 billion of Chevron. These are the 5 best stocks to buy and watch now. So what are the 5 best stocks he recommends? Let's see. Buying a stock is easy, but having the right stock without a time test strategy is incredibly hard. So what are the 5 best stocks to buy now or put on a watch list? Northrop Grumman, Dollar General, BYD, Sentinel, and Vertex Pharmaceuticals are prime candidates. Under Lisa's to AMD's profit-making machine. Under CEO Lisa Su, Advanced Micro Devices has become known for flawless product execution, while rival Intel has stumbled with repetitive delays and underwhelming product launches. AMD has consistently released market-leading chips on schedule, spending a fraction of Intel's budget on research and development. Su-52 has been laser focused on ensuring that the company builds the capabilities to meet its promises while managing the technology risk inherent in innovation. When we commit to a customer, we must deliver, she says. Um, we've been able to do that for the past couple of generations, and we need to continue to do it. Okay. There is a reason why AMD has been successful in delivering the products that customers satisfy because of her what diligence or something that makes her who she is. Must have made the company right. Uh, Unlike Intel, uh, the company that has a lot of delays and mm, problems. Uh, Under CEO named Lisa Su, this AMD uh, has been doing so well. Mm. Even this author mentions her and the company. Okay, C23 of the fastest growing stocks, eyeing up to 852% quarter second growth. An investor looks ahead to quarter second earnings season. Here are 23 of today's fastest growing stocks that are expecting at least 100% earnings growth in their next quarterly report after the bear market ravaged tech titans like Nvidia, Apple, and Alphabet Chemical, and all stocks now dominate the list. These are the 5 best EV stocks to buy and watch now. EV stocks have multiplied in Tesla's wake, and as electric cars look to go mainstream, but not all are created equal. Some car stocks are more ready than others for an EV factual. Here are the top-rated electrical vehicle makers and EV plays. Tesla, BYD, Li Auto, X Lithium, and Battery Tech ETF. Companies with two important characteristics generally make the best candidates for stocks to buy and watch, according to Kingsland guidelines. First, they need a strong track record of earnings growth. Second, the stock should be showing elements of market outperformance and be shaping bullish chart patterns. But most of the new EV stocks have neither. They include the Fisker, Canoe, Faraday Future, Lower Town, Exos. In fact, many of these EV startups aren't producing or delivering electrical vehicles yet. However, the two startups have begun selling their first electric vehicles, bringing in revenue. Lucid Motors began deliveries of the Lucid Air, a luxury electrical sedan, last October. Rivian Automotive also began delivering the R1T electrical pickup in late 2021, with the R1S SUV due this year. There are a lot of EV maker companies out there, and only two um, makes cars, uh, and those two are what is it? Rusi Motors and Rivian Automotive. Paladin subscription could beat estimates. That's not saying much. Shares of Paladin Interactive were in the red Friday after analysts from Morgan Stanley reiterated her cautiousness on stock. She expects subscriptions for the fourth quarter to be at their lowest level since before the pandemic. Lauren Schick maintained her equal weight rating for at-home fitness company Peloton. $90 price target. Morgan Stanley estimated Peloton will add 126 subscriptions in the fiscal fourth quarter ending in August, way above guidance of 20,000 additional subscriptions. How to bottom pick a stock. Okay, this is gotta be an interesting article. Buy warning stocks hasn't been working recently, so it could be time to start picking up losers. Top performing shares, aka momentum stocks, typically stay high because investors are naturally attracted to what's been doing well. It's a circular idea, but there's usually no arguing with the results. Is Fubo TV stock still a buy? Amidst lowering of FY22 estimates. Fubo TV. Okay, there's no other way of saying 2022 has been absolutely brutal for Fubo TV stock. The shares have lost 82% of their value since the turn of the year, as investors have turned away from high growth yet unprofitable names. And that is essentially the crux of the matter for Fubo, because while the sports focused streamer has shown that it can grow at a rapid clip, it hasn't been able to show that it is getting any closer to turning a profit. The near-term outlook does not inspire much confidence either. According to Needham's Laura Martin, with this in mind, Martin has made some changes to her Fubo model. We lower our FY22 estimates for Fubo to reflect growing competition in the VPD space, slower streaming ad revenue growth, and the weakening U.S. consumer spending owing to higher gasoline prices and other inflationary pressures on goods, the analyst explained. As such, the revenue forecast is reduced from $109 billion to $147 billion, while the EPS estimate changes from So the point is this: is Fubo TV stock still a buy? People expected that Fubo TV stock will do really well before, but now it looks that it's not doing so good, and it's not gaining any profits. Profits that experts expected. It's not meeting people's expectation. So like they're like lowering estimates for the next quarter. Tim Cook keeps pushing Apple in new directions. Okay, what is he pushing? Let's see. Apple shares haven't escaped the 2022 bear market. Stock is down about 20% year to date. Nonetheless, Apple remains the largest US company by market cap at $2.3 trillion, with most of that generated during CEO Tim Cook's 11 years at the helm. Cook sees many opportunities ahead. More than half of Apple's revenue comes from the iPhone, with an updated lineup due this fall, but Cook 61 has been pushing in new directions, including an aggressive expansion into new services. Apple now offers streaming video, music, and games, along with credit cards and digital payments. Apple now offers streaming video, music, and games, along with credit cards, digital payments, and other financial services. He has also re-energized the Mac business, shifting the iconic computers away from Intel processors to powerful new in-house chip designs. Is Roku stock a buy before streaming platform quarterly report? Roku is the company. What's her name? Roku is the company that Cashwood is most interested in. Cashwood is interested in three stocks. Of course, Cashwood invested a lot of money into multiple companies, but out of that companies, the top three companies that she invested in the most are Roku, and including myself, I invested some into Roku as well. And this article is about whether is this stock a buy before streaming platforms quarterly report. Let's see. It's looking at it in two different ways. Technical analysis. We'll skip on this one, and local stock fundamental analysis. Fundamental. That's the one we have to look at. And streaming video platform. Okay. Beginning from the beginning, streaming video platform Roku is the on ramp to internet television for many consumers, but investors have soured on streaming video stocks amid slowing growth. Still, some people might be wondering: is Roku stock still a buy right now? The San Jose, California-based company started as a unit of internet television network Netflix, made the company's first set-top box. But Netflix decided it wanted to be hardware agnostic. So it divested the business in 2007. After the divestiture, Roku kept making set-top boxes and added streaming sticks to allow consumers to access internet video services such as Netflix, Hulu, and Amazon Prime Video. Later, it licensed its operating system to smart TV manufacturers. Today, Roku gets most of its revenue selling advertising on its platform, including commercials for ad-supported services such as its own Roku channel. Plus, it takes the shares of pay-per-view and subscription revenue from third-party services all through its platform. Roku stock is seen tied to the shift of television ad dollars to streaming platform from traditional broadcast and cable services. Hmm. Consumers are increasingly turning to free ad-supported internet video networks to manage their entertainment budgets. Roku saw the trend toward ad-supported video on demand coming, while others were focused on subscription video on demand. Executive original content. Is Roku stock still a buy? Roku stock is not buy right now. It needs to form a new base in the right market conditions before setting a potential buy point. Check out IBD's big picture column for the current market direction. Still some Wall Street analysts like Roku plays the secular growth market of over-the-top internet television. To find the best stocks to buy and watch, check out IBD's start list page. Okay. Ask prisoners. Okay, let's see. When Antonio McGowan left the Mississippi State Penitentiary at Parchman after serving 17 years, he was free for the first time since he was 15. But as an adult, finally out from behind bars, he immediately found himself confined to menial labor. McGowan needed stable work for a paycheck and to keep busy, but temporarily gigs were all he could find, just as those around him counseled the importance of maintaining a routine. He became trapped in a cycle of odd jobs and irregular hours. He trimmed the grass one week and painted a house the next, but he couldn't land anything full time, and the unpredictability of his income proved challenging. Disconnection notices and unpaid bills piled up. Okay, the point of this article is that ex-prisoners are struggling to have a stable job. Mm. Uh, the only job that they can have are like like painting and mowing lawns and stuff like that. So it's unstable. It's irregular. So they have hard time keeping up with paying bills. Bills are piling up. Mm. Things weren't in place. Macron said they weren't swear I wanted them to be as far as being on individual back in society was struggle. You know. Immediately, the Biden struggling to shift policy after Trump. Okay, let's see. Joe Biden took office looking to reshape U.S. foreign policy in the Middle East, putting a premium on promoting democracy and human rights. In reality, he has struggled on several fronts to meaningfully separate his approach from former President Donald Trump's. Biden's visit to the region this week included a meeting with Saudi Arabia's King Salman and Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. But Biden now seems to be making a calculation that there is more to be gained from cornering the country than isolating it. AT&T is its cheaper valuation worth to buy. Okay, has fallen over the last several years and is now back down to 8.23, which is significantly below the mean FWD/P/E ratio of companies the S&P 500 19.44. This fact has left some investors considering adding the stock to their portfolio. Another catalyst that's leading this consideration is that the company has paid down a significant sum of its debt, approximately $40 billion in total, through its spin-off from Warner Media. The effect of this restructuring will mean that T's interest payments will reduce by roughly $1.5 billion, leading to a probable expansion in the company's margins and free cash flow. Product performance, but when stacked against its peers such as Verizon, may be seen as a less attractive option when using some important ratios. Prefer stock, common stock. Different few key areas: prevalence, dividends, assets, stability, voting rights, flexibility, risk. Stock represents ownership in a company. Preferred stock represents ownership that grants the stockholders a guaranteed climb to dividend and stronger climb on company assets. 3 cheap stocks that just got upgraded. The analysts upgrade 3 cheap stocks with double-digit potential. Now the S&P 500 has corrected about 20%. The stock market is starting to look cheap again. While we think the broad market still has ways to go before hitting bottom, there are some stocks and sectors garnering attention from the analysts. The 3 we're highlighting today have corrected far more than the broad market, are supported by secular trends, and have at least a high double-digit potential for capital gains, and so are very interesting to us. If you're looking for a place to pour some money for a second quarter reporting period in summer of 2022, these are certainly worth a look. Hmm. Ho 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 ho. 3M looks like a clean bargain until you realize the dirty truth the market news and how to handle a market correction. Bumble stock isn't a top pick at Evercore anymore. Why it's stolen by cryptocurrency is coming to your credit cards. Okay, this is it for today, and there's been a couple of days since I did a YouTube live last time. It's been like 5 days or so. I was out of my home because of work, but now that it was over, uh, I came back home last Friday. So anyway, I'll see you guys again tomorrow, and happy, not happy. We have work tomorrow, so get back to work tomorrow, and I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, bye bye.